Sometimes it makes me tired, my social relationships. So it makes me think all the time. It's not really a question, it's more of a statement. I understand. Um, my friendships make me feel tired a lot too, especially when I have friends who want a lot of attention. I don't like people who are constantly texting me like all of the time. That ends up being too much. I tend to not be friends with people who want to hang out all of the time because that's too much for me as well. I like people who want to go out to dinner like once a month and who are willing to plan it like a week or two ahead of time. I've realized that more and more about myself as I've gotten older. Those are the friendships that I tend to do really well with, the people who don't need that much attention. They're more like me. They like their free time. They like to have, plenty of time and space by themselves. I think that it's important in relationships and in friendships to set boundaries, to know what you need and to be upfront about it, to ask for it. If you need more time than what they're willing to give you, then you need to stand up and say, we can hang out once a week and I need 24 hours notice. It's not rude to do that. It might be weird because maybe your friends have never had somebody who's done that, but you need to think about what you need. That's just as important as what your friends need. I had a friend several years ago who we used to go out to lunch quite frequently, but she would never, you could never just call her and say, hey, do you want to go out to lunch today? She would always need at least 2 days notice. And at first, when I first met her, I thought that was kind of rude because all the friends that I had had in the past, and especially like my older sister, we used to go out to lunch all the time and we would just call each other like even 10 or 15 minutes before lunch and be like, hey, do you want to go out to lunch? And, we would make plans that way. So for me, it was strange when I met somebody new and they were like, no, I need like 2 days notice. But it was also something that I got used to. And then I asked her about it later and she said, I'm not the type of person who can just make changes to my plans. She's like, I want to know ahead of time what's happening so that I can be prepared for it. And it's not just like about work. It's also about, what I personally need. And that made a lot more sense to me. And then I was a lot more willing to accommodate her and to make sure that, when I made plans, I didn't suggest times that were like the next day. I always, gave her like 2 or 3 days and then, maybe next week too, so that she would have plenty of times to pick from. It's important, especially as introverts, to give yourself time to recharge. I like to use my weekends as time to recharge. So if I'm going to make plans for the weekend, I only make plans for one day. And I also have like rules about, I don't want to go, like if I'm going with somebody somewhere, I'll take my own car so that I can leave whenever I feel like I need to leave. My friends know that like 2 or 3 hours is the max that I want to spend somewhere. If it's more than that, then I need to make an early exit, and that's okay with them. They understand that that I have limits. Being an introvert, I'm not an all day type of person. I'm a dinner type of person, or a short dinner and a movie type of person. So it's important to communicate those things and to be upfront about them. It's a lot better to explain to your friends that you're an introvert, and there's a time limit to how much time you can spend with them, rather than to just try and make excuses. They'll appreciate you more for being honest. And once they get to know that about you and that you've set boundaries and you keep those boundaries, then they'll expect it in the future and it won't be such a difficult thing. They'll be more open to making accommodations for you because they see that's how you operate all the time.
Learn more about your INFJ personality on my podcast, The Quiet Ones. The Quiet Ones is a weekly show where we dive into understanding self-love, depression, anxiety, and so much more from an INFJ perspective. I offer up in-depth coaching and unmatched empathy. Join me for an amazing personal growth experience. The Quiet Ones podcast is available on all major podcast platforms and at thequietonespodcast.com. Hi there! I just wanted to take a minute to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I'm working very hard to produce content that will help you, and I really, really appreciate your support. Also, if you want some more inspiration, check out this video right here.